Hawaii Blues fan, we're bleeding blue with you. Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues!
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues!
Presented by Scott Credit Union. Your safe
BlueNoye Fan Report on a pre-surgery day. That's right. Tomorrow the dinner fork gets fixed, I hope. And I'll be able to move my hand without being in pain anymore and grab a hockey stick and doing all that other fun stuff. Got called from the doctor today. They moved my surgery up a couple hours, which I'm glad for. So that means I don't have to go all freaking day without eating. Makes it a little bit easier. It would have been hard to go till 2 o'clock without having an eat or a drink, but now I got a little bit of a reprise there. How you guys doing today? All 5 of you that are up watching me this late. I'm watching the 49ers defeat the Dallas Cowboys. Yay! Not a Cowboy fan. It's the chair. Could be the Black Evil Spirit too. One of the two. Could be both. Hey, Jason, how you doing? I can make the chair disappear, but then I disappear. I was kind of playing with that earlier. Let's see here. Is it this one? There you go. How's that there? I'm ghosting everyone. The true definition of ghosting there. That's a little better. There we go. Oh, having a little fun with the I need to do a white balance adjustment. I don't know where my little white balance thing is. If I did, I would do it right now, and you guys get to watch me do it, but I can't find it. And actually, there's one thing I can do that might help it out a little bit. There we go. That helps out a little bit. Gives some more light, makes things a little bit better. So I hope that kind of helps. Oh, how are you guys doing today, man? Let's talk about some hockey. Big news in the hockey world today. Bruce Brodeur was fired from the the Vancouver Canucks. And Rick Tocchet, formerly of Torche, however you want to say it, formerly of the Arizona Coyotes, was brought in. Now, the way Vancouver handled this was completely wrong, man. Bruce Brodeur came in there, and he was like the savior. And with all of that, you know, they just kind of... This is where... I sent you a link, Lance. This is where that coach versus front office comes in really, really big. This is an absolute more of a front office issue than a coach issue, because these players love the coach and they're standing behind Bruce and they're playing for Bruce. They're just for the moves that Vancouver has made. This team shouldn't be that bad. They have front office just seems to have let them be set out to dry, to not have any, that's a front office issue there. Now with the Blues, I've gotten in some arguments. See, I feel with that domino falling, now it makes it easier for Berube to be the next domino. Audio only today, Lance?
Yeah, I'm not feeling real well and wasn't able to do a few things today, so I'd prefer not to see my face. So.
No problem. Hey, so one of the things that I was talking about was the Bruce Brodeur in Vancouver.
Yep.
And I asked Jim Thomas this, and he, Jim does not think that
I know.
Berube will be fired at all. But now that this domino is fallen, as bad as it is what it is. It's fallen, right? Doesn't that make it easier for Blues management to make a change?
Well, it actually should have nothing to do with things going on with other teams. It should have what's going on internally with the Blues. And like you and I have talked about all year, Guy, and Ashley too, and I think a few guests we've had on here, every other city, when a team's not playing well, they normally turn on the coaches first.
Yeah.
St. Louis is a strange city. It's Berube all of a sudden, because he came in and we won a cup, he can do no wrong. And I disagree with Jim Thomas. Berube is on the hot seat, and I don't care what Doug Armstrong told these players. If Doug Armstrong is going to go to bat that much for Berube when it clearly the message isn't getting through, like Thomas said, and Berube has to be held responsible. I don't know if you saw the quotes I put out on Twitter last night about some famous quotes from the greatest coach of all time, Scotty Bowman.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, don't ask a player to do something he can't do, which, we can apply that to Berube. And also, it's the coach's job to put players in positions to succeed. This is coming from the greatest coach of all time. Yeah. And, you and I have been called Berube haters, but we all know how much we praised him last year. In my mind, even though they were favored to be a good team, he could have very easily been a candidate for coach of the year because he did such a good job last year.
Yeah, no, I'm on that. This year, though, Vancouver, I looked at Vancouver as one of those playoff teams, right? I thought they were going to be one of the 5 from the West.
Yeah,
from the Pacific. I keep saying West, from the Pacific.
At the beginning of the year, I remember when we asked everybody, who's your surprise team? You pick Vancouver, and I said I wanted to pick Vancouver, but I thought LA would be, but I did agree with you. I thought Vancouver would push for the playoffs.
Right, and here it is. I don't know what's happened in the front office, but this isn't a coaching issue there.
No, I don't think it is. No.
The players absolutely love Brudeau.
Yeah,
absolutely love him. I mean, when he came, and look at the fan base. Bruce, there it is, when all this stuff came out about, because basically they brought in Tocchet before they fired Brudeau.
Yep.
And the news leaked, right? So that's kind of a bad thing. My issue here with Berube is not, look, he won the cup, great. How many coaches out there have only won one cup? There's a bunch of them.
A lot.
How many of them out there are considered great coaches? Not many.
Not many.
Not many. Right? Just because you win one cup doesn't make you... all Berube did was change a message that wasn't being heard. Okay, great. That's what he did. And it didn't affect right away. It took 2 months. Before it took effect.
Yeah, because he was hired in December, I believe, into November.
Yeah, mid-December.
Yeah, and in the first several weeks, month and a half of his coaching, they were just as bad. It's like I tell people, and I think you'll agree, what happened with that team is all the changes they made, players hadn't played together. The only guy that was working out was O'Reilly. He was the only player at the beginning of that year working his butt off. Perron looked bad. Bozak looked bad, who they brought in. And just all of a sudden they started gelling. Did Berube help? Yes. But I'm going to tell you right now, and people may disagree with me, a good coach could have came in with that kind of talent and got the Blues back to believe in themselves.
Yeah. No, see, for me, the thing that I look at more than anything else is you look at what's happened to this team since Berube took over as head coach. Mike Yeo, his message fell flat right away, very early, right? Unfortunately, we all missed it. We all missed it, but his message fell flat. The 17-18 season where they missed the playoffs, and they shouldn't have. You know, that's where they lost. That's where Tarasenko first hurt his shoulder in the last game of the season against Colorado. But that was Yeo, and we come into the next season, and it's the same thing. I think we started the season with like a 4-1 or a 5-1 drubbing by Winnipeg.
Yeah, that was the Patrick Laine game where he scored all those goals.
Yeah. No, I don't think that was. I don't
it.
think that was it. I think he did it another time. But
well, you know, and I'm glad you brought up Mike Yeo. Okay, let's compare Berube to Mike Yeo. Berube comes in, the team gets hot, they win a cup. Now Mike Yeo didn't do that, but he comes in. You know, we all know the coach and waiting crap, and we've talked that before. But they fire Hitchcock. Yeo comes in, and the Blues were the best or second best team in that second half of that season. And then,
no, actually they weren't.
Well, they were one of the best teams because he really turned them around. Jake Allen got turned around. They really got turned around when he came in that second half of that season. They were a different team with him, and
they were. Well, the reason they were a different team because now the team knew what voice to listen to.
Yeah, and Berube and Yeo have a lot of the same qualities. The only difference I think between the two is Berube handles players a little differently, I think, than what Yeo did, but their message I think is very similar.
Have you ever heard a coach go out and say it's up to the player when he comes back to play?
No.
Have you ever heard a coach say that?
No, and I've also never heard a coach from one game to the next or 1 week to the next where he talks about how, you know, our team must play a defensively sound game, a two-way game. We must grind. We must do this. And then 2 games later, this league is changing. It's a speed league now, and we need to put shots on goal. And then 2 games later, you hear Darren Pang say during the broadcast, we all know Craig Berube. I just talked to him this morning. He don't want them just putting shots on goal. He wants them to take quality shots only. Well, which is it?
No, it's a confused message. It is a confused message, and I've heard it. I've heard it a bunch. And I still think Robert Thomas hit that. I mean, I think he gave everybody. Robert Thomas gave everybody the out they needed, and no one wanted to listen to it.
And Guy, he did it so well that people like Jim Thomas and other people, Jeremy Rutherford, didn't notice it. Didn't notice how he said it or what he said.
Oh, I talked to Jim Thomas, and Jim Thomas said I was standing right there when he said it, and he told me he didn't. And I probably shouldn't be saying this, but he basically told me he didn't feel that.
He said that.
He didn't feel that that's how it was meant.
Oh, I think that's how it was meant.
It's exactly how it was meant. We're tired of the message. The message needs to change.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and to me, that was exactly what he said.
Mm-hmm.
And the message hasn't changed, or if it changes, it's changed not in a good way because they're still they're not a cohesive group at all.
Yeah,
right?
and I also think one thing Berube does, and we didn't see it too much in the Stanley Cup season, but one thing he's done since then, he has favorites, and he'll play them and move them up and down the line, no matter how bad or how good they play. And I'm sorry. Neil Achari, he's a good player, a good fourth line guy. but he's one of the, I call him and Levo are the new Zach Sanfords. They can do no wrong, even though they do wrong all the time. And you know, I keep watching these games and people talk about Achari. Oh, he's so tough in the corner. He's so this in the corner. He's so tough in front of the net. 9 times out of 10, he can't handle being in the corner. He doesn't have the size to do it. And and you know, when a coach favors players, other players see, hey, this guy can make mistakes and he's not gotten onto. I make a mistake and I get set for a game, or I make a mistake and I get moved down to the third line. And you know, that players don't like that.
Well, there is one thing I've heard. I'm going to treat, I won't treat all players the same, but I'll treat all players fairly. That's what a good coach does, right? You're not going to handle Vladimir Tarasenko the same way you handle Torpachenko.
Well, and
right?
also the same, most coaches, guys, they don't handle players, the good ones, based on their talent. They handle the player based on their personality. Like I've said before, some players need to be kind of pushed and, you know, be called out. Other players that doesn't work with, you've got to kind of coddle them a little bit and build them up and tell them how great they played and tell them you're making progress. And I think that's what a good coach does. You don't have to treat everybody the same, but like you said, you've got to treat them fairly, and you've got to treat them and coach them the way it works for them.
Well, yeah, and that's what I think is missing from this team, is that the first of all, Berube scares me because Berube's a caveman, and cavemen don't change.
No, they don't.
Right? We have seen that on numerous occasions. These caveman coaches, they don't change. Look at who's the coach in Philly right now? I can't think of his name.
Tortorella,
right? Tortorella is the definition of a caveman coach.
Yep, he is.
Right?
Yep.
And you know, here it is, Tortorella, the only thing that he's ever changed on is actually, it's a good thing that he changed on it, but he changed his stance on player protest. But when it comes to the way he treats players or he deals with players, that hasn't changed at all, and I don't think that ever will change.
Well, Hitchcock never changed. If you talk to players that played for him, let's say when they were younger in their career and then came back to play for him later, same coach. He never changed.
Well, I mean, he originally, at one point when he was with Columbus, he had made the statement that if one of my players ever kneels, they're not playing. I'm sitting them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, with the and I can't think of his name now. What's his name?
Provorov,
right? With the Provorov, now this is now his coach or his player. Provorov made a made a protest, basically. Actually, see, I don't even want to say he made a protest. I don't think he made a protest.
No,
I think
he wasn't protesting anything.
Right? No, what he did, there were a couple of things that came out, you know, from some of the media guys, and one of them said he refused to participate.
It's not true.
That's not the right word to use. He did not refuse to participate.
No.
He decided that it was best if he did not participate. That's not refuse. If he was, because he was not told you have to go out there. In order to refuse, you have to be told to do something. He was not told to go out there in that jersey. And not only that, the NHLPA and the NHL have stated that it is okay for players to choose not to do these things. Right now, I will not say who, but one of the other podcasts that is out there, one of their lead people got on you saying that. And actually, I thought he made a good point. I did think he made a good point. Right? I'm not going to disagree with, completely, disagree, because he did make a good point.
Well, he made a point that I do agree with. There are some people that use that will take one thing from the religion and stick by it. But something else in their religion, they'll let it go and they'll do it. I did agree with him that some people do that. If you're going to live a religious life and base your beliefs on your religion, you've got to be with it 100%.
I agree. Well, see, but that's not what Provorov did.
No, I understand. I understand that.
Right?
Yeah.
I still don't think what Provorov did is wrong. I don't.
No, I don't either.
Right? I really don't. I don't have an issue.
Here's the thing, guy. Here's the thing, guy. The people in that community, they want to be treated fairly. You know, they want to be able to express themselves. They want to be able to do things that everybody else does. Well, Provorov, by saying I don't feel comfortable wearing that jersey, he's expressing himself. He wasn't bigoted. He didn't say I hate those people. Those people should die. He just said my religious beliefs, I don't agree with it, and this is why I'm doing it. See, it's got to go both ways, guys. If a group of people, and not just that community, but a group of people want to be treated a certain way, they've got to treat others that way too and respect their opinions and beliefs.
Yeah, no, I'm with that, and I'm not going to put this comment up because I can't stand political. I hate the word woke. The word woke.
I do too.
I want to say this, and I don't know how to say it and not be political, right? The conservative agenda to take words and twist them to meet to make them meet what they want to say drives me up a wall.
I think everybody does it. And, you know, I'm like you guys. I don't.
Conservative. Unfortunately, conservatives do a lot more than liberals do.
Here's the thing. I don't vote. I don't get into politics.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't. And maybe because I'm from the outside, I see it more from, you know, as a broad range of just the way people are today. You know, and you may be right. Maybe there are more on that side. I don't know. You know, but from what I've seen, everybody is kind of getting that way anymore, and it drives me nuts.
Well, it's just what it is. First of all, I'm trying to. I want to get off of this. I really do.
I know.
This has not. Believe it or not, this isn't a political thing.
No, it's not.
This isn't a political thing. It's a choice. Mm-hmm. It's a personal choice.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it comes down to. Ivan Provorov made a personal choice, not to wear the jersey and use the stick.
And did that choice cause bodily harm, mental harm to anyone? You know, anyone else? Did he?
Unfortunately, it may have. Unfortunately, it may have.
I don't understand that because it's like I said, I can understand it, guys.
Because and here's the thing: because we have sat there for so long and said, if you don't do this, then you are being anti.
Yeah, I know.
And that's the problem. He wasn't being anti. He was making a choice saying, this is how I believe. This is what I'm going to do. Plain and simple. I made a personal choice. Well, we take that choice and twist it. The word he refused. No, he did not.
Guy, it doesn't compare, but it's the same thing as Jeremy Rutherford saying Tarasenko demanded a trade. When
no, actually, it does compare in some ways.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the whole group aspect and attack aspect of it. You know, the hatred aspect of it. I'm saying the way people get things twisted. You know, he demanded a trade. No, he went in and talked to them and said, "Hey, you know, why am I being used this way? Do you guys still want me here? If not, I'll give you a list of teams to be traded to." You know, but people twisted that, and to this day, like you said. First story or first truth always wins.
First lie.
First lie always wins.
First lie wins.
Yeah.
Right? No, and that's the problem is that the first lie that came out was that story from Rutherford. Yep. Now, Rutherford always backs it up and goes, well, they've never denied it. Well, they ain't confirmed it either.
Nope.
They've never confirmed it either. I sat right in front, Tarasenko asked him directly, did you request a trade? His answer to me was, there's a lot of lies out there. I know the truth, and I think you know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to say any of that to me, but he did.
No, he could have just skated away from me and smiled.
No, I haven't, Matt Lowe. I haven't. Right?
Yeah, if you want to get back to talking about the Blues, which we probably should do instead of this other.
No, that's what we are talking about, though.
Yeah.
We are talking about it with.
That's
see,
right.
the Tarasenko. This is the most. I get into the fan groups, and in the fan groups, Tarasenko doesn't want to be here. And I love when they say this. This is the one that gets me. Tarasenko keeps saying he doesn't want to be here. Where has he ever said that?
Yeah, where?
Where has Tarasenko ever said that he does not want to be here?
Well, guy, I don't know why he's such a polarizing figure in this town, because you remember when he wasn't given the captaincy after Pietrangelo left?
Yes.
Everybody made a big deal about it. And what he actually said was when they interviewed him in Russia, he says, it would have been nice to get the captaincy. I would have loved to have that. But he didn't say he was pissed off about it.
No, he never did, but it was twisted into that.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And here it is. Everyone, the first thing they read, that's exactly what they believe.
Yeah.
The first thing they read is exactly what they believe, because I keep hearing it. Oh, he's upset. He was upset. He's upset because he's not the captain. Tarasenko has never said that he was upset because he's not the captain.
Never.
Never. Not one time has he said that. Not one time has he said, I don't want to be in St. Louis. In fact, I keep bringing up the Liane thing, right? Because that's what players do when they don't want to be in this place anymore.
That's right.
Right? Look at I can't think of his name now. He's in Ottawa. He went to Florida. He was on Philly. Was there for a long time. He was Philly's captain. They traded him last year.
Van Riemsdyk?
No, not him. This was last year. He was their longtime captain.
Grudeau?
Yeah, Grudeau, right?
Yeah.
Claude Grudeau. Claude Grudeau did not mind. He had told Philadelphia that if they were going, he wanted to know what direction they were going in, and if they're going to try and win, he would stay. They said, we think we need to rebuild again.
That's right.
Oh, he said, okay, well, I don't want to be part of a rebuild.
Yep, I don't want to.
You guys can trade me.
Yep.
Now, that's not demanding a trade. He went out there and played.
Yep.
Look at Patrick Liane. Patrick Liane told the Winnipeg Jets, I'm done. I do not want to be here any.
Yep.
Oh, I got the prime example. I got the prime example of what happens when a player decides he doesn't want to play anymore. This player told his coach, I will never play for you or this team again. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, because there's several I have in mind.
It's a goalie. Somebody's going to get this. There is a goalie out there, a very famous one, who got left hung out to dry for 8 goals. When he finally got pulled, he went right to his coach and said, I will never play for you or this team again. And he sat, and he refused to play for them until they traded him. There we go. Patrick Waugh. When I forget who was the coach in Montreal at the time. Hung out to dry. Gave up 7 or 8 goals. They just were not playing in front of him at all. And the coach left him out there while these guys were just not playing. And when he finally pulled him, he was embarrassed so bad. He went up to the coach, and I forget who it was, but he said, I will never play for you or this team again. Actually, he may have just said this team again. Right? Hey, Wendy. And then he did. He sat until he got traded. Right? That's what happens when a player doesn't want to play for a team again. Play for a team. A player doesn't go out, say I demand a trade, and then lead the team in goals and points. He doesn't go out and become an all-star. Right? I don't remember who was behind the bench. Oh, I don't remember who was behind the bench, but I mean, it was a big deal. They ended up going to Colorado and winning a ring in Colorado. He got traded to the Avalanche.
Yep.
Right, and then he ended up coaching the Avalanche, I think. Or did he coach Montreal for a while?
He coached the Avalanche. Coached the Avalanche,
right? Tarasenko has done the exact opposite of a player that wants to get traded. Right? The exact opposite.
Oh, was that Jacques Martin?
It might have been. Oh, Jacques Demers.
Yeah, it was Jacques Demers. I was thinking either Demers or Martin. Both.
Which tweet? Which message? You said he went to the president of the Canadiens. Yeah, after he yelled at the coach.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Jacques Demers behind the bench.
I thought it might be Jacques Martin because it wasn't Jacques. I don't know. Jacques Demers by that time. I don't know if he was still there, but you might be right. It was either Jacques Martin or Jacques Demers, which are both ex-Blues coaches.
We didn't score a shorthanded goal. We gave one up.
Yep.
Wrong. You got it wrong there. And Wendy's happy about that loss. Or that win, I should say. No, the Blues yesterday, they've got this mental block where they cannot get above 3 games over 500. Right? They just can't do it for some reason. The president was in the stands. Okay. I remembered it happening. I couldn't remember everything, that went down with it, but I remember it happening. But that's what happens when a player decides that they're not going to play for a team anymore. Right? Mm-hmm. Shit. Trying to do 3 different things at once again. Doesn't work very well. So, with that being said, you know what, Jason? And I've said this before. The difference between the number 32 team and the number 1 team in the league is minuscule. It's minuscule. Every team in this league is good. Right? We act like the worst teams in the league are so goddamn bad. They're so freaking bad. You know what? You take the worst team in the league and you take an all-star team from the AHL or whatever the next minor league is, the AHL.
Well, guy, even that, if you take the Chicago Blackhawks right now and have them play 10 teams in the KHL, they'll probably win 9 of those games.
I'm saying go to the AHL, take an all-star team from the AHL, take an all-star team from the KHL, and they're going to win a 7-game series.
Easy, yeah.
Easy. They're going to win a 7-game series. Mm-hmm. The difference between the top and the bottom actually is minuscule.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got Vegas losing to the Coyotes tonight. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen.
Should it happen? In theory, no. But it does.
No, we didn't lose the moment the backup goalie stepped on the ice. See, that's the other perception that drives me absolutely bonkers. Right? It's like, you know what? Blues fans are the most once bitten, twice shy fans in the league. In the league. They are absolutely the most once bitten, twice shy. If something happens one time, it happens every single time, no matter what. It's always going to happen. We had a goalie come in, a backup goalie play great against us, shut us out. So we always play bad with backup goalies. We always make them look good. I even play that on the show because I know what Blues fans think. If I only play, so this is something that was brought up by Hockey Bob to me. And Hockey Bob is, and I want to make sure I choose my words very carefully here. He has a very unique outlook on life, okay? And according to Hockey Bob, everything that he says is 100% the truth. And in his eyes, nobody has the right to judge these players. We should just be happy that they play. Right? We should never criticize. We should just be happy that they play. You know what? That's why the Chicago Cubs went 15 years between world championships. That's why the Blues went 53 years between championships. The fan base makes the team. Plain and simple. Do you know, this is, I know it's not hockey, but it's football. There is a owner in football, and I've heard him say this. And he said it, I've heard people say it to me, and I've heard him say this. Bill Bidwell, the owner of the Cardinals, has said, before I even sell a single ticket, I'm already made money. I'm already making money before I sell a single ticket. Right? So he doesn't matter what he puts on the field. Right? He's making money no matter what. And look at Buffalo right now. Buffalo is very close to being a playoff team. Do you know how far under the cap they are? Do you know how far under the cap they are?
Talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Oh, I thought it was like 18 million, 20 million.
Oh, my goodness. I wish it was that.
I thought
they are 40 million under the cap.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
they are at the floor. They actually have two players. They are paying two players that are injured not to play just so they can have enough to reach the salary floor.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And this is a team that is getting close to a playoff spot.
I think they're closer to a playoff spot than Detroit is.
Maybe. Detroit's a little bit under the gun. See, I got told about Chicago, and me, I don't know if you were here yesterday. We had this argument. I had this argument with Hockey Bob yesterday. He kept saying, oh, Chicago's up against the cap. They got all these bad contracts. Chicago's got $12 million under the cap.
Mm-hmm.
You take that at the beginning of the season, you take that $12 million that you're under the cap right now. You could have easily taken some $1 million guys off and invested in some $4 million guys and had a much better season, even chasing a playoff spot.
Yep.
They decided in their rebuild that this is how they're going to rebuild. They want to rebuild through the draft.
No, that's just this year that they want to tank for.
Well, Bob says that teams can't tank because of the lottery. Absolutely, teams can tank because of the lottery, and that's exactly what Chicago's doing.
Because if they think a player's that good, a generational talent, even if they just got a slight chance of getting him in a lottery, you better believe these GMs would do it.
Jason says if a team is not playing, has a team for the fans, you have nothing worth watching. Some people are going to watch no matter what.
Yeah, and you know what? Getting back to fans, the thing is, and you and I, when I do my podcast, you've got your vlog, you do all the time, but nobody allows you to post it, on certain things, and you can't post it here and you can't post it there and then you see somebody say, this page is for Blues fans that only have positive things to say.
Oh yeah.
Well, here's my question. Is life positive? Is every second of your life positive? No. Which means the things you see and do and spend your time with, there's going to be positives and negatives.
Oh yeah. I got kicked out of a group because I would, somebody in that group would post stuff that I knew was false, and I called them out on it, and I was being hateful.
Yeah,
I wrote an article after I got told something. I wrote an article proving a guy wrong, and I got told that was trolling him.
I remember
He called
that.
me out.
I remember that.
He called me out, yet I trolled him.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I guess Ashley's watching us. Hey, Ashley, how you doing?
Ash.
Gloria, how are you? All I got to say, guys, is this plain and simple. On this show is about hockey. And this show, if I was to come on this show and all I did was speak positive about the Blues, I would have nobody watching me. Nobody would watch the show. I mean, my numbers are almost nothing anyways, but it would be worse. If I came on here and just got positive. No, I was called the troll. I was called the troll in the group. But if you remember, I know my website's down. The article I wrote on Scandella, I had a guy call me out on Scandella, tell me how horrible he was and all his numbers. And I went and proved him wrong. And because of that, because I wrote about that group, I was the troll and I got kicked out of that group. All right? You know, someone can call me out, but I'm not allowed to reverse it.
It's another example of the first lie.
Yeah. First lie wins.
Yeah.
You know, first one to call you out wins.
Yeah.
Right? Bully me first, and, then when you return it, you're the bully.
Yeah. And
right?
I'll tell you, when I first started my podcast, I built it. It was slow. It took about 2-3 years, but I had over 1 million downloads and listens in that third year. And a lot of the comments I get from people is, we like it. Some people say you're too negative, but at least somebody's bringing up stuff that could happen if the Blues make a trade, or if they put this line out there, if they start this guy against his team, because a lot of media today is just nothing but fluff and positive. And it's like you said, people don't want that. They're tired of that crap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what people want, because my show, I got to be honest, right? This is probably the last season of the show. I don't know if I'm going to do it next year. I really don't. Right? After 5 years of zero growth, the amount of energy and effort that I put into this, it's almost no longer worth it.
Have you thought about doing just a podcast? It's a lot less energy.
Same thing. It's no different. It takes just as much time to do a podcast. In fact, it takes more time to do a podcast than it does a live show. Right? I've taken live shows and recorded and put them out there and gotten, almost no views, no listens. So, there is enough stigma now about me that people hate me enough now that it's just not going to happen. Maybe I'll do live stuff only when I get back home. But as far as doing what I'm doing now, I don't feel like it's worth it anymore.
Well, maybe once you get to St. Louis, guy, try doing one show a week and then do live spots. To just see how that works. Don't give it totally up. But because I think each could play on each other. Once you get back here and you start doing regular live shows, more and more people are going to get to know you. And I think this could grow a lot better. And then, cut it down a little bit and then expand it when your live shows start growing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. It's, the amount of money that I've put into this, and I've gotten zero out of it.
I know.
You know what, Matt Lowe? No, the numbers are the same as they've been since they started. They haven't gone up. In fact, they've gone down. It didn't matter when the Blues were winning or losing. It doesn't matter. The numbers, I have not grown. I've never grown. The live shows have never had more. I think the most I've ever had is 35 at one show. The most. When I tried to do a draft show and the number kicked up because people thought I was broadcasting the draft. As soon as they found out I wasn't, they were gone. And I'm tired, and I'm tired of hearing it takes time. 5 years. Yesterday's show, a game day show, got 60 views. That's it. Right? The people that normally watch aren't watching anymore. I don't know why, but they're not. The shared in the groups, they're not. I'm not gaining. People aren't clicking on it. They'll like it, but they'll never watch the show. I don't know what the fuck to do anymore. I honestly don't. And if you don't like me bitching about it, tough. Right? I mean, it's to the point I can't do anymore. Because the more I do, the worse it gets. It's not on me anymore because everyone is now sick of me talking about and trying to promote the show that they won't watch the show. Well, if nobody else is going to fucking do it, well, what am I supposed to do? So I'm in a quandrum. Well, Matt Lowe, you know what? I've been kicked out of every group for promoting the show, so how am I supposed to tell them about it? The Blues won't recognize me. People don't, believe it or not. And I don't, this is going to sound really bad. When you share a show, don't just share it. You need to tell people about it. You need to put in the comment, hey, join me. This is a good show to watch. They talk about Blues hockey during the game. You know, you just share it. You got to tell people a lot more. I try and put all those stuff up, and it's getting to the point where it's frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating. I put all this energy in it, and it feels like, I don't know, it feels like it's not worth it. It just feels like it's not worth it. You know, I get called out sharing my show. No, you're not supposed to do that. You can't do that. You do this. I've been kicked out of so many groups. My name has been fucking destroyed for trying to grow this show. So at some point, what do? And even in St. Louis, I got no more than 10 people to come out to 3 live shows.
Like I said, Guy, you've got to do it more to where people know you, because a lot of people in St. Louis don't know you.
Why not? That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to get at. I have shared and talked. I've been on the radio. I've done all that. So why don't they know me? Well, they don't know me because enough people don't like me, so they've made it to where I can't share it. You know, I'm sorry I'm being negative right now, but, you know, I got a lot on my mind with the surgery. I probably shouldn't have done a show today, but fuck it, I did anyways. You know, I don't know what else to do. I'm frustrated. You know, there's groups with, you know, the 3 largest groups. I've been kicked out of all 3 of them. The Blues Lounge, St. Louis Blues Nation, and We All Bleed Blue have all kicked me out. And I got kicked out of We All Bleed Blue for sharing my show from my page instead of YouTube. The same thing, because it was the YouTube was put on the page. Because I shared it from the page and not directly from YouTube, I got kicked out of that group. I got kicked out of the lounge. I'm not sure if it was the Lounge of the Nation. I got kicked out of either the Lounge of the Nation because I had the Haley background on my show, so that was me fundraising. Right? I mean, at some point, what am I supposed to do? And none of these guys will even listen to me anymore. They won't talk to me. They've all blocked me, so I can't get back. I have no way to come back. All right? I've tried to grow my group. I've done my group now for 5 years. It has 650 people in it. I look at All Blues Everything. That group is less than a year and a half old. And it's got, what, 5,000? I got kicked out of that group, too. How is that group's got all these people, but my group, I can't get anybody into it? You know, it's really, it's come to a point where I have to say it's me. People just don't like me. Plain and simple. About to burst a blood vessel over here. All right. You know, as far as I know, I'm the only podcaster that's ever been up in the alumni box. I could be wrong. I mean, that's as far as I know. But I don't know. I'm to the point now, because here's what I look at, and I'll show you guys. Actually, I do have. Before I go there, let's go positive for a second. I want to put something on the screen real quick. Are you good with that, Lance?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me get on the right button here. I want to put this. You guys remember? I think I showed you this video. You remember this one?
You hit it. Oh my goodness! Did you strike a chord with me? Everything that you're saying right here is how I feel and what I go through on a daily basis. You talk about things happening at lightning speed, about trying to please everybody. If anyone's ever watched BlueNoye Fan Report, you know exactly. This is me. You see this in me. You see how I try and please everybody. You see all the things that are happening with me and how difficult they are. I'm a little different than her. I'm not as much as an empath, but everything else that she's talking about right here is what I go through every moment of every day. Girl, you hit it. And God, I'd like to talk to you more. Bring you on the show to talk about this.
Well, that there is Carrie Beth Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I have Carrie Beth reached out to me yesterday, and it looks like not next week, but the week after next, she's going to come on the show. She is a hockey fan. She was a Canadiens fan, but she's started to fall in love with Vegas. So we're going to come on and we'll probably talk a little bit of hockey, and we'll talk about ADHD and mental health and some of the things that she goes through that I go through. So that is a positive thing that should be coming up. Right. Now it takes me off the negative stuff in my head. Oh, am I a buffoon or what? Because I have surgery tomorrow and Jason asked me to. Right? That's why. Because I won't be able to do a show tomorrow. My surgery's at noon. So I will probably be getting home when the show was supposed to be there.
So it's outpatient?
Yes, it's outpatient.
Good.
Right. They're going to put an implant in my arm and clean out my carpal tunnel.
You got somebody to drive you back home?
Yep.
Good.
Yep. Got that taken care of. I'm going to be under general anesthesia.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised. I thought they would just put my arm under, but they're actually going to put me completely under.
Yep.
So I thought it would just be a local, right? But apparently I'm going to get the full treatment. So I can't eat or drink anything after like 2 a.m. Something like that. But no, I'll be in there. I'll be in there. Yeah, maybe if I have my phone with me, I can. I don't know if I have my phone with me. All right. You can try it. You can try it. We can try it. See, I even stopped doing the TikToks because I felt like, it just, I don't know, I wasn't getting out of it what I thought I would. Right? I wasn't getting out of it what I thought I would. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll change it. I'm sorry, Lance. I didn't mean to go off on a bad tangent for you, bud.
No, it's your show. It's okay. I mean, I'm just listening.
Well, guys, that's an hour. Thanks for coming on, Lance. Thanks for joining me and talking a little bit of hockey and a little bit of other bullshit. I greatly appreciate it, man. You guys have a great... Oh, I know what I was going to show earlier. Hold on. Okay. See, now it comes back to me. See, that's the ADHD. I think of something, I forget it, and then when I start talking about something else, it comes right back on me. Right? That's how the ADHD works. Okay. Okay. I think. A little different. I don't know. Yeah, you can see some of it. There we go. Okay, it's popping up. There we go. So, okay. So, guys, this is what I'm looking at, and I don't know how well you can see that. I don't know how well they can see that, Lance. I don't know how well you can see it.
It's pretty good.
Okay. So if you look here, this is the video, the shows, right? And this goes back, I want to go back to when we first started, when Ashley did this. She did the Devils game, right? When she did the Devils game, I got 188 views. Then we did one the next night. I got 57 views. And I got 89 views. And then we had the Montreal game, 162 views. The Wild game, 44 views. And then on an off-night show, this was 2 weeks ago, I had 296 views. That's the best I've ever had. And then I had 102, 119. Then I had 81. Yesterday, for yesterday's game day show on a Saturday, I had 54 views. Right? For me, that was telling. That was like, you know, that's the lowest game day that I've had since we've started doing it this way. And that game day is lower than a lot of other shows. Actually, the Minnesota Wild game day was at 44, so just as bad. I actually think we had trouble with, I don't know if we had trouble with that game. No, see, I only did it for 42 minutes, so that might have been something going on why I couldn't do it. And I think we ended up, that might have been the shutout game, so I'm not sure why. I might have come on late or something. But I'd have to go back and look at it to see what happened. I think there might have been something going on with that game. Oh man, I don't remember. I know it wasn't my trip, so that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. Yeah, maybe I do, my friend. That's because when you have others on to see comments more get responded and I don't know what you're talking about, Jason. Don't know what you're talking about there. But hey guys, thanks for joining me tonight. Lance, thanks for joining me. I will be back on Tuesday. I think Ashley may do a show tomorrow. We'll see. So guys, look for the BlueNoye Fan Report. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us. Oh, that was the other thing. I put out the videos about how to find the BlueNoye Fan Report, how to get notifications. You know what I keep hearing? I don't know how to get notifications. I don't get notifications anymore. I don't get notifications anymore. No, I keep hearing that.
I know.
You know, at some point, I don't know what else to do. Right? Okay, guys, have a great night. Lance, thanks so much for showing up, bud.
Yep, I hope your surgery goes well tomorrow.
To all you Blues fans, we're bleeding blue with you. Let's